Yep.
And I was like a last minute thing. I'm like, I'll do a little Frankenfurt. I didn't realize how big the crowd was going to be for like.
Oh, it gets crazy.
The fandom for like Rocky Horror.
Oh yeah.
So the crowd went nuts. Ended that, and then I was really kind of annoyed because I came in second place. I lost to I forget the guy's name, but did a really good job. But Baby got back, and I told myself like I'm gonna come back in a year, but I'm actually gonna plan it this time. Bring full costumes, stilettos, the whole 9 yards. And I was gonna scroll my back like kilts. That's cute.
Right.
You know, be full on in drag. But then I kind of like I couldn't do the show originally, and so like the 2 days before the show, I filled in as like a last minute replacement because my schedule opened up.
Gotcha.
So I scrambled to grab the costume. I'm looking at my wife going, I don't think I want to do this. I don't have any time to plan it.
Right.
And then I was drinking some in the lobby going, I can get out of this. Stumble upstairs, throw the whole costume on, walking down, and they're like, they look at me to go, I did my routine to go, we have to take the trophy back from the baby. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, when you were gone, the guy that beat you last year, his daughter came up and did the Cupid shuffle.
Okay.
And she was like 2 years old, and she, of course, was adorable.
Right.
And the crowd just cheered and they gave her the trophy without any contest, but they didn't know what I was doing. So I'm looking at him going, my first reaction is two things. I'm like, I lost to the same guy again.
Right.
But also, there's a child here.
Yeah.
I'm covering myself up. That was a good time. But Ming was just definitely the victim of that because he's there. He's got all the attention in the room. So
He is. He's a great
He got
guy.
the worst of it with my performance.
Well, shit,
Oh.
the first karaoke thing we did was probably 3.5, almost 4 years ago now at Fantastic Con when they did it in Mount Clemens.
Yeah.
And we all we walked across the street to the little restaurant that was there, drinks, and somebody went, dude, we gotta do karaoke. So I fire up Yelp, search on karaoke. This place pops up named Dickweeds, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I call, and the girl answers the phone. She's like, Weeds. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, number one, the bar's really named Dickweeds. She's like, yeah, it's the owner's name. I'm like, okay, we'll verify that later. 2, says you have karaoke. When does it start? She's like, 9 o'clock. I'm like, beautiful. Summon a whole bunch of Ubers. Off we go to this little towny bar in downtown Mount Clemens, where the highlight of Bob's night was that he sang the Flash Gordon theme song with me. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's so great.
And the owner of the bar, somebody, because we roll like 30 deep into this little towny bar, including like 6 guys dressed as Ghostbusters. We got Ming, we got Big Tiny from The Walking Dead, we've got I forget who, a couple other people, Mike's with us.
Yeah.
And so I guess they called the owner and they're like, yeah, you need to get here and see this shit. And so the waitress was really good. She's like, oh yeah, this is the owner. You want to meet you? I'm like, not until I see some ID. And he was like, what? I'm like, nah. Said the bar's named after you. I want to see some ID. And he pulls out his wallet. His name's Richard Weeds. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, sweet.
Okay. Sold.
Nice.
But yeah, so the stupid karaoke shit in Toledo was why we actually had, we actually have the big wrestling belts.
Yeah.
That's why we had those made.
Right.
Was because of Dirk and his ego, and we had to.
Yeah.
Because that's just who we are and what we do.
Yeah, he's kind of phasing out of it now. I'm kind of disappointed. Every time I see him at a show, I'm like, what, did I scare you off? Like one little pantyhose and you're gone,
Yeah.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, whenever.
Whenever. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Whenever.
Is me here? Right one?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the right one. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I am live.
Anything I should know?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be on 4, and then I was like, oh, you're on.
Yeah,
3.
there was no headphones over there.
Oh, okay.
You want that? You want to tuck it right straight in the front of it? You don't have to eat it, but you want to be no more than about hand with the water.
What about there? Good?
Yep.
Guys can hear me good?
Oh, shoot. Is he 7? Is he 9?
No, it should be 7.
Oh, okay. I did it wrong. I did 8.
Go for it.
Hey.
Testing. There we go.
Hey.
Now we're on it.
Cool.
Now I'm here.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Way to go, Gene.
Wait, what?
Not the.
Are we talking about how bad I'm doing at this?
No, I said he screwed you up because he told you to use 10, and 9 and 10 are never a thing.
Right.
So I was like, way to go, Jamie.
That's me. It's all me.
I'm trying to be good at this.
She just flipped you off.
You're
Did
great.
you see that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
No, it's okay. We're all good. No, 10 works for the worked for the thing. Are we not using 10 now?
Yes. No, we're using 10.
We are?
10 is the thing.
10 is the
10
thing.
is the thing.
What is
for the
11
music.
and 12 then?
Nothing. You leave them the way they are.
Leave it the way that. Okay.
All right. Perfect.
I'm so good at this.
You are.
You're getting better?
I'm kind of
Question
scared to
mark?
work at the other one.
All right. Go.
Oh, just wait. It's
You
going to
ready?
be plug and play.
All right. Wait. Okay, we're good. Okay. I need to do that, and then I need to do this.
Hey, there's the music. That means it's time for Animal Talk. Some of the best doggone pet people on the planet here to help you with your pets. That is what we like to do. And sitting down the road from me,
Hi, I am not Brian Donovan.
no, he's Brian's an animal behaviors dog trainer and not with us today. But you are.
My name is Matt Fox.
That's it. And pushing our buttons.
Sam.
I'm Jamie Flanagan, just making sure everybody has a good time. Animal Talk, it is America's pet show, and we like to help people with that. Was me. They help people with their pets. That's what it's all about. It's like the hokey pokey. We turned our lives around, and we're having fun on a podcast. We're going to have even more fun today because we dragged a guest in, kicking and screaming and joining us today.
And scratching.
Is Tom Savage. Tom is a graphic artist, yes? Is that what you would call
A little bit of
yourself?
everything.
A little bit of everything?
Filmmaker, an artist, a cartoonist, graphic designer, a teacher. We'll get into that.
And that's how we crossed paths. We were at one of the Comic Cons here in Detroit, and you were there at a booth, and Sam was like, "Holy crap, I know that guy!" And I'm like, "Who?" She goes, "Tom Savage," and I go, "Who's Tom Savage?" He's over there.
Story of my life. Who's Tom Savage?
That's Tom Savage.
And so Samantha explained that, yes, you teach at the college that she's at, and you subbed in a couple of her classes a couple
That's
of
right.
times. She was so glad to see you and find out about your book. It started out as a webcomic. It's now coming to life as a children's book. Ash and Raimi, is that
That's
it?
correct.
Ash,
That's correct.
Ash and Raimi, that's the book. But you have so many projects, right?
Oh, yeah. I do everything from commercial illustrations for licensed properties. I'm teaching.
Okay.
Ash and Raimi began as, well, based off my two real cats who were named Ash and Raimi.
All right.
Named after, you might
Evil
guess, Evil Dead.
Okay.
Even though, yes, it's
Yes.
so it,
Sam would know.
Yep, it spawned into a children's book. Now, some people hear the name, they assume right away that it's going to be kind of an adult-themed, snarky, like ironic children's book, but
Okay.
it's really not. I just didn't feel any need to change my cats' names.
Okay.
So, I had the idea for quite a bit, and I started out doing a cartoon series even when I was a kid. One of my biggest influences to be an artist was always, Charles Schultz from the Peanuts, and the big one is undeniable for me was Bill Watterson with Calvin and Hobbes.
All right.
And when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be one of those guys. I wanted to write the weekly strip and the Sunday comic, get it
Aw.
published and put out there. So I started out with a cartoon called, which is kind of derogatory now, but it was called The Flea Bag, about my Dalmatian dog at the time. And I was 10 years old when I started that, and I actually was able to get my local paper to actually run the comic when I was about
that's
10
so
or 11.
cool.
How old were you?
About 10 or 11 years old.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Were they paying you too, or just running
No,
it?
it was just like, they're like, this kid's...
But that's an honor to run it.
It really was. It was really cool. My goal was to always try and, develop my sense of humor, which, when you're a kid is, rough to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, eventually comic books came the way, and that trickled away to, that area. But there was always a part of me that I always kind of like wished I'd kind of like come up with the right idea for a comic strip.
Yeah.
So one little thing I just wanted to correct you was
Oh,
it
sorry.
started out as a kid's book first.
Oh.
And then the webcomic came as
Okay.
a means of just creating content, So when I created the book, I'm like, the hardest part to do is, promotion. No one's ever heard of it before.
Yeah.
So here I am rocking this thing out. And I thought, I need to put something out every day, whether it be like, facts about animals or cats with the cartoon Avatar as part of the,
Gotcha.
just the flair.
Just raise awareness of the
Anything,
product. Yeah.
anything. Just
yeah.
putting their face, their illustrations, their cute little drawings
Yeah.
on anything I could.
All right.
And the idea of the webcomic came around because I used to do a little bit of stand-up comedy back in the day.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and I had to let that kind of go. I had to
Yeah.
let that go away too for a
Aw.
while, just because there's too many interests and too many passions, so you have to kind of balance things out. But I never really had an outlet for any of my sense of humor, my jokes, my little commentary, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it started out as, let's do it. Let's turn these guys into a webcomic. So I started out some simple jokes that were kind of tying into the kids' book, and then it took on a life of its own. And now it's everything. It's an everyday thing. I have a notebook just stacked of ideas and
Oh,
stories, and
wow.
I just
Yeah.
control.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah.
So how many stories come from your cats, and how many are you just fabricating straight out?
Right now, probably about 75% are all real life based.
Yeah?
One
that's
came to
great.
me this morning, and I pitched it to my wife out the door. She was already laughing, and she's hard to make laugh.
Okay.
She doesn't find me funny at
Yeah,
all.
that's my wife either. Yeah.
Isn't that how it goes? Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like, you're supposed to think I'm the best, you know?
Yeah. Jamie's on the radio. Do you listen? She goes, I got to listen to that at home. I'm not going to listen to that over there either. So,
Exactly.
So what was what came across this morning?
Well, I caught my youngest cat, Ramy, drinking from the toilet.
Okay.
And nothing new.
Eh.
And my oldest cat, Ash, the bigger and heavier one, he has an obsession with eating grass.
Really?
So, I mean, he scrambles to the door the moment I open to try and get outside just to eat any kind of grass. And I bought him wheatgrass here and there, but it's just a digestive thing. They eat it,
Sure, yeah.
they throw up,
Sure,
and
it's
then they're
fun.
happy and they
It's
do it
fun,
again.
yeah.
It's just part of their life.
It's like sorority girls.
Yeah, so the comic's going to go, I hate to spoil it so early, but I'm going to write it this week anyway. But the setup is, well, let me give you a background about the cats if you haven't read them yet.
Yeah.
It's about two cats who live with an alien.
Oh,
The alien's named Martin.
I'm just getting better by the minute.
Yeah, it's so good.
Now,
It's so
this
cute.
started out as a one-off joke about that Area 51 raid that was going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a one-idea joke about the cats, because I wanted to be goofy. So if you want to take a look at that one.
Yeah.
Where basically, the one cat's getting nervous about everyone wanting to raid Area 51, the repercussions. And the punchline you see there was, out of nowhere, Ramy is now gathered himself a Martian. No reason, no logic, just there.
Sure. Party in the USA? Is that what his shirt says?
Property of the USA.
Property of the USA.
So implied that he just already went to Area 51 and came
Sure.
back with an alien.
Oh, okay.
This solved the biggest problem I had in the storyline because I decided to do a couple more jokes with it and run with the storyline a little bit. I figured the alien would, participate, learn about cats a little bit, then go back to his home planet, and that'd be the end of his arc. But one thing that was missing, though, was the owner element of the storyline. Garfield has John Arbuckle.
Mm-hmm.
Simon's cat has Simon, and so forth. It's kind of it's been done a million times, and the last thing I wanted to be was another John Arbuckle. I didn't want to make a cartoon avatar of myself.
Sure.
So I was struggling for a while writing any human interaction or ownership as an off camera character, and I realized that eventually that was going to run into problems. So the more I wrote with this alien, the more I fell in love with him and his ignorance about raising cats. Then I realized he's my John Arbuckle.
Right.
So I wrote him into staying on Earth, and decided to get himself a job working in corporate America, just so he can support two cats
Oh.
that manipulate and abuse him and misinform him about their role in the society as much as possible. So it writes itself after that. So
That was really loud.
So the joke that came from this morning was it's going to be Ash, gleefully running to a pile of grass, falling face first and just devouring it. And then Martin holding a cup of coffee, looking out the window, going, he's eating grass. What's wrong with him? And then behind him, Ramy's got his head deep in the toilet saying, gross.
Okay.
So, there's definitely a lot of real life moments
Because-
that write for me.
Yeah, okay, I thought it was funny.
I love it. Ash and Ramy, because I got cats. I'm a cat guy.
Yeah.
You get dog people, you got cat guys. Matt's more of a dog guy.
I have a cat that acts
You-
like a dog.
Yeah.
Honey pot.
Yes.
It's are they? Yeah, Ash and Ramy, are they boys or girls?
They're both boys.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ramy's like a dog, too. He plays fetch perfectly.
Right.
Yeah.
They
Anything I
fetch.
throw, he brings it right back to me and drops it in my lap. It's
She
amazing.
watches television. It's hysterical.
It's I find boy cats are better tempered generally than the lady cats. The lady cats, oh, they're crazy. They're
My
gonna,
lady cat's pretty
they're
laid back.
gonna scratch you up as soon as they look at you.
Yeah, my lady cat's pretty laid back until it's about 3:30 a.m.
Okay.
and that's when she finds the catnip.
Of course.
Running mad around the house. So
Yes.
you're beginning super early, 10 years old, published for the first time, and
So to
then
speak, yeah.
so and then from there how did you hone your craft? Was there schooling involved? Was there
Absolutely.
just years and years of working? So where'd you go from there?
Well, you can only go so far with high school. I always felt, and most of it's
Yeah.
fine art that was offered to me. Then I started going to Macomb Community College here in Michigan, and again, I started out in the fine arts program that they offered there. And at the time, I was only going so far with that, as far as learning figure, learning charcoal drawing and whatnot, and I was getting kind of frustrated with it because I didn't really know where I was going to go economically with it. I was getting to the point where I felt like I peaked as an artist. Like, well, I can never get any better than that ego a lot of artists carry and then pay for later. So I dropped out for a while.
Okay.
I decided to look at other things, picked up guitar, played music, went to stand-up comedy, as I mentioned earlier, and that was kind of a flop, but trying anything in the entertainment industry I can get into. And then eventually it came down to I was approaching my late 20s, and I was still waiting tables and bartending and whatnot, which is fun, but it's taxing on the body.
Sure.
So I decided, okay, well, let's do the one thing everyone, a lot of the artsy people told me about was to avoid graphic design. That's the sellout world. And I was like, but they get jobs? Okay, all right, let's check it out. So I went down to the South Campus and checked out the graphic design program they had there, and then I realized some of those artsier friends of mine didn't know anything they were talking about, and it was everything I ever wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Talking to guys like Matt Bush, who was one of the biggest Star Wars artists in the world, teaching
He's
there.
so cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Became good friends. I learned from him, how to be a professional illustrator. And then just when I had thought I had peaked as an artist, realized I hadn't even scratched the surface of growth that was available to artists, and that's something I try and teach people now, is that you'll never peak if you keep trying to learn new things and always scratching the surface, looking at your peers, finding out what they do and figuring out how they do it.
Mm-hmm. So your graphic artist job is able to allow you to do the creative thing with Ash and Ramey.
Yeah. Thankfully, I took a job that doesn't pay well, but the hours are phenomenal because I work from home. They don't
Sure.
even know how long I really work for them.
Okay.
So I fill in my time every single minute I possibly can working on my own projects, whether it be my board games, my card games I create, video production, anything I can think of my comic book series. Every minute I have available, I'm putting into my work.
So Ash and Ramey, we like it because it's cats and animals. But I'm intrigued. Board games. So you've created some board games?
Yeah,
Card
I
games,
created a
board
card game initially. It's called Grimoire Quest.
I bought it.
Oh,
It's pretty cool.
And it's
Okay.
kind of like my answer if people appreciate Magic the Gathering or
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons,
Sure.
but maybe they're intimidated by those games because of the complex learning curve, expensive deck building, and all that. So I created a game that anyone can learn how to play in 5-10 minutes, regardless of experience or background.
Okay.
And play a game in that fantasy realm theme, and then they can walk away when they're done without having to find special clubs to hang out.
There's no
and,
walking away.
Yeah.
Without the cloak of shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without having to basically say, well, my lifestyle is now D&D and Magic, and I have to
Yeah.
But I
find
got all these
people.
20-sided die I need to use.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it. How do I?
Yeah. So that was the first one. Then I'm working on a new one now called One of Us, and that's more of a traditional board game. The elevator pitch, I just tell people it's Clue meets The Exorcist, but family friendly.
Oh, that
Okay.
sounds so lit.
I know no one's gonna believe that until I actually show them the game. Like, oh, okay, I guess it's family friendly. I'm like, yeah, Ash Rainey might even make a cameo in that game. We'll see.
Oh.
So they're talking about Clue. They're talking about revamping it and getting rid of one of the rooms or changing one of the rooms.
Which room?
The conservatory?
They're putting it up to the fans. Fans.
Oh, that's
right.
tough.
They're leaving it out to fans to find out what room they're going to get rid of and replace with something else. So what are they going to get rid of, and what are they going to put in?
Probably the library, since people aren't reading anymore.
I said put in a hot chicks room. That's kind of
Oh my god.
my vote.
Yeah, they won't allow that.
Yeah, I don't know. You said that about the microwave when it came out. We use that all the time.
Will one of the rooms just be like a safe space now?
Yeah,
Everyone's picking on you in the game. You go there.
a foam wall and oh
Wait
wait,
a minute.
that's what we're in. Are we in?
One of the
safe
pieces
space?
is now a straitjacket that you can switch off.
Oh,
It could just be a podcast. That's just where you go to vent about the other players.
Well, there you go. It's foam. There's foam in a podcast studio.
Right on.
See?
All right, so the board games, that sounds great, and then the comic book series, is that what is the comic book?
I wrote a comic book called The Anathema, and it was a little more dark themed space story about this galaxy that had been torn apart during a war by this evil demigod named Balam that was resurrecting defeated, which I found out later on was pretty much the same plot as Game of Thrones. That's why I kind of put it on the shelf for now.
Okay.
But he was going through like planets and like wiping out planets and then resurrecting the dead aliens and people as his zombie army. But it was more like servitude zombies, like the old school Bela Lugosi white zombie stories.
Okay.
But yeah, even though it was like aliens and monsters,
Right.
it was still like Game of Thrones with the whole like, giants and
right.
people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man.
It sounds a little supernatural.
Yeah.
It really was.
The end of the
You know.
last season, you know.
Yeah, it was. I was really bummed watching that. I'm looking and going, you gotta be kidding me.
Right.
I started reading the books and I'm like, I just slammed my I have 1,000 pages of script that I wrote that are still sitting on almost 9 years later. It's still good. It does go in its own direction. So I'm confident enough when I look at it and go, all right, if I just pull away from some of the zombie stuff a little bit, which frankly I think we're all sick of zombie anyway, I can get back into the series. And I did successfully kind of navigate away, but I think just everything else just got in the way. And I realized as much as I enjoyed doing the series, I'm really proud of like what I wrote, making a comic book on your own it's tough. I mean, especially
the graphic comic that are out there right now.
right.
Yeah.
Not just writing it, but drawing it. I'm my own writer, inker, colorist, everything. I'm my own publisher. I sell my own stuff. I'm a one-man army, a one-man show.
Right.
And the thing I'm the worst at is doing what I'm doing right now, promoting.
Okay.
Oh.
Going out, talking to people.
Sure.
I want to work. I want to just draw and paint and make things, and then I want just magically for them to find their way into people's hands.
Yeah,
And that's
right.
tough.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my question: is so the comic book? How do you get that published? Is because in recent times, like self-publishing has become so much easier and so much more available. Before you had you couldn't. There wasn't such a thing as self-publishing.
Well,
There was cranking out copies at the library on the black and white and stapling them
Absolutely.
together. But now you can actually genuinely self-publish. So how do you find a balance of trying to find someone to publish you or to self-publish, and what route have you gone?
I typically have only done self-publishing.
Okay.
Kind of just because of the change in the landscape. Back in the day, what I kind of miss about the whole the chase of the old days for people is it kind of thinned the herd. It really kept some of the people who really had the hard drive to keep going no matter what. But now we have this place where basically the littlest bit of drive can turn into success in some cases, And I find that's it's good and it's also bad. So it's created kind of what I feel like is like an explosion of oversaturated market of independent work material. So it's really hard for people to find the really good stuff versus the stuff that just kind of floated through,
Right.
just because it's hot right now.
Sure.
And I'm hoping to always just make sure I stand outside of mediocre. Versus, I feel like the kind of personality I have is sacrifices everything. So I will sacrifice all my time and effort to make something good. And I feel like sometimes the competition now, because of the landscape, you can go on the internet and go, how much to print a book or how much to print a comic, and
Sure.
you'll find 1,000 people like chasing down to offer you the best deal
Yeah.
and put your book in your hand, and you can sell it and you make a living.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to that. Of course, it's great because it does give an opportunity to people who may not have been heard before, and it connects people to. But then it also attributes to an oversaturation of weaker work,
Right.
overpowering maybe some strong work.
So I'm newer to the whole con market and
Sure.
games, and so with the con we saw you at was like my third one
Mhm.
I went to, and the artist row, it was just amazing, just rows and rows and rows of people like you sitting there,
Yeah.
with their souls out in front of them, of just what they've worked on and poured themselves into.
Sure.
And it's like there's so much out there. It's how do people find just rhetorically, how do people find things? How do people get hooked? And then what is success? What is success when you have a comic book series or a children's book like this? What's success for you? I mean, selling 10 copies, 1,000 copies, 10,000 copies. What is your level? Where do you need to be to say that was a success?
Well, that's a good question.
to pay for what I spent on it.
Yeah.
That's always the best feeling when I get out of the hole.
Right.
Sometimes I never do. To me, success is always finishing the goal. Period.
Okay, so getting that
Yeah.
product in your hand is
number
that's-
one thing. For me to have an idea, begin it, execute it, and complete it and see it in my hand,
Mhm.
or even just the prototype, to know that I did the work and it's good and it's here.
Mhm.
That is always going to be the best feeling, hands down. The second best feeling is getting it funded, or getting it printed and having an actual product. And then the next best feeling, that's probably the first time person buys it.
Yeah.
And I always make that person pull them aside and go, I got to take a photo with you. You're the first person to buy my book or my
Aw.
comic or
Great.
something, or it'd be one of my illustrations, anything.
Yeah.
After that, it's just a matter of what's next.
Sure.
Right.
So you're lucky we're here in the Metro Detroit area.
Yeah.
And Metro Detroit is blessed. I don't know, with a lot of cons. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of there's a number throughout the year. There's probably a good 5-6 fair sized cons.
Probably closer to 50.
Yeah,
50,
there's a lot
You know that would
in
be
the state
appropriate for
anyway.
you.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I do fewer now.
Yeah.
Do we want to go into the convention market? How it's
So it's kind of getting saturated.
I believe it. I believe yeah. It's
And that's the thing.
real
It's like
problem.
so. I mean, you're grinding it out. How many weekends a year are you out at a con? Because you got one tomorrow. Is the Monroe Comic-Con
Yep.
coming up?
There was a period where I do absolutely any show that would have me, and lately I've noticed that because of the oversaturation, it's becoming very difficult to make a living appearing at some shows, especially when you have to pay for hotels and travel and things and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's getting to the point now where I'm kind of doing fewer shows. I'm focusing on either large state shows or the best of the best local shows. And I'll honestly say on the air that, I think the Monroe Comic-Con is one of those best of the best.
Oh, okay.
The guy who runs
cool.
it, he busts his butt all year long. He's
Okay.
out there. He cares about the stuff. He puts together a good show, and he comes through. And there's a lot of other shows out there that I feel like, they're just trying to make the buck. And then they basically, it's a cash grab right now. They hear like, oh, conventions are doing really well. All these people show up, and so everyone
Yeah.
puts together a show that, they throw it together, and people do come because there's always the curiosity factor.
Yeah.
Right.
So then the promoter thinks, oh man, I've done an awesome job making this show. They'll be back next year, but they don't realize that maybe only 30% that came were really impressed, and the 70% that came just to check it out, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
So next year it's a complete bomb and a disaster, and they might be putting too much money into it. And you see that kind of happen a lot. And so the
Yeah.
problem we're having now, though, is we used to have one show a year, and it was special.
Yeah.
That was the thing that people wait all year for was Comic-Con. They're saving up their money.
Sure.
They're excited about the artists that are going to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And now it's not special anymore. There's one every weekend.
Yeah.
There's
Really.
and it's
Yeah.
and a lot of times, like, I notice even myself included, we're all the same people there.
Yeah. Oh, and especially if you branch out to just like the Midwest. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're going, because driving distance, Cleveland, Toledo, places in Illinois and Indiana are all, and then, the west side of the state and Grand Rapids, Lansing, Ann Arbor.
And it's across. It's across. the
There
country.
probably is something every weekend drivable
Absolutely.
within here if your favorite people are going to be there.
I'm going to a
There's-
convention this weekend.
Are you?
so. Woo, I'm
Is
going
that
to
what
Portland.
Portland.
Yeah.
What's going on in Portland?
Rose City Comic Con.
Oh, very cool.
I'm going. Woohoo!
Who's going to be there that you're stalking?
Will
Who
Wheaton.
He's going to be in Cincinnati next week.
Yeah, or week after, I think.
Are you going to
I'm
go
friends
to,
with
are you
him,
going to go
so.
to Cincy too?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
she's a. Well, you used to talk to his animals on the
Oh yeah.
internet or
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. We're like friends now. It's weird, but
Yeah.
What
it's
kind
cool.
of animals does he have?
He has two cats. Ooh. Yeah, he has 2 cats and then he has 2 dogs. But yeah,
Ah.
I think he used to have 3 cats and then they gave one away. One was just like a foster cat. And the other one passed away. But yeah, the other dog passed away. But yeah, they have 2 dogs, 2 cats. But yeah, they're cool. They're cool people.
All right, so Tom, is there a one-stop shop for people to find about your stuff and find out about Ash and Raimi?
Yeah, for Ash and Raimi, I have the website ashandramey.com, which I still
Okay.
can't believe I got that domain name without any hyphens or anything. But yes, ashandramey.com.
And
And
we got the one. It's does this look infected to you.com. So I was amazed we got that.
wasn't that an album from Sum 41?
Yeah, Sum 41. Yep.
I'm kidding.
Boy.
I don't really have that.
Oh, nice.
I want it though. We did get wearing funny.
What was it?
Wearing funny.
.com.
Wearing Funny.
Wearing funny.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm surprised.
Wearingfunny.com.
I
Yeah.
couldn't,
That
I
wasn't
couldn't even get my
taken?
own name. I couldn't get TomSavage.com.
Well, that's kind of.
I know,
Savage
right?
is a,
Well, there was actually, I even tried Tom Savage Artists back in the day. There was a
Uh-huh.
Tom Savage Artist, of course.
Oh wow.
Right now, I'm competing with Tom Savage for the Lions. He's like the 4th pick quarterback or something like that.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Oh, that guy has been a thorn in my Google search engine for the
Oh.
last decade, and he's been encroaching every year more and more. And then he moved to Michigan. I was like, oh, come on!
Oh no.
Here it comes, like the one thing I had, Detroit, Tom Savage. So now I'm thinking about just doing a whole bunch of Detroit, like Lions, Tom Savage portraits of him, just to draw attention to me.
Yeah.
Oh, smart.
There you are.
Why not?
Good thinking.
Smart.
All right, so ashandramey.com.
Mhm.
So it's just the word spelled out, ashandramey.com. And then what is your website? What did you settle with? Or is that it? Just ashandramey.
That's the website. Yeah,
That's the one.
website.
Okay, I didn't know if you had a
ashandramey.com.
personal Tom one or something.
I do. That's TomSavageStudios.com.
Studios.
Yep.
TomSavageStudios.com.
Everything is all weaved together. You can get to all my websites all through each
Wow.
other. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's smart.
Awesome. What's next for Ash and Ramey?
Well, right now I'm going to be relaunching the Kickstarter
Mm-hmm.
to try and get the book, the kids' book, published next week.
Is this a prototype
cool.
that we're seeing?
This
or is...
is the prototype.
Okay.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm sorry.
The final one will be a little bit nicer, have a nice dust jacket and everything.
Uh-huh,
But
uh-huh.
yeah, this was something just so I could bring to the shows to show people. I'm like, look, it's a real book. It's done. I've done the work. Don't just give me money so I
Yeah,
can promise
yeah.
I'll make one, you know. So now the audience has been growing a little bit with the web cartoons and the social media and sharing out there. I published it on. It's available as an ebook on Amazon right now.
Okay.
Which will be free this weekend as well.
Ooh.
For
I
not,
will get that.
not just for Amazon Kindle Unlimited accounts, but for everybody. So I think it starts Friday and Saturday, those 2 days. Anyone can download it for free in their ebook. And my goal is just to get in hands. I want moms and dads to read it, and share their kids, build an audience. And, I know that one day, make a good product and the people will come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this, and it's very reminiscent of something, but I can't. Very Seuss type of.
Lettering?
The title is brings me to a Seuss.
Dr.
Okay,
Seuss.
okay, I see that.
So, not the illustrations. The illustrations are unique. I like them. I like the fat. Ash is a big fat guy.
Yep.
Ramey, is Ash a little chunky monkey at home?
Absolutely. In real life, Ash is 18 pounds
Oh.
of spoiled, rotten.
That's a big kitty cat.
And Raimi is only 8 pounds.
Yeah.
And I originally got the second cat as kind of like my hope was that he would be younger and bring some new blood to Ash and get him moving, chase him around a little bit.
Right.
And it worked, but not. The problem is there's 2 bowls of food out now. So now he's exercising more, but he's eating more, I feel like.
Oh no.
So- Out of that, he's making a deal with the kid and they're trading food off. I don't know.
This is so cute.
Awesome. All right, so ashandramey.com or TomSavageStudios.com to find out more. Tom, thanks so much for hanging out and
Hey, thank you for
tell
having
us
me.
about your stuff. We're going to abuse you a little bit before you go.
Sure.
Sam loves this because we're not abusing her. Normally, Sam is the butt of all our jokes.
Yes.
We play a little
Ugh.
game that we like to call Fact or Fiction.
Okay.
Fact or Fiction.
You decide.
All right, Tom, I have 3 headlines. 3 headlines ripped from the news. 2 are absolutely true. 1 is completely false, written by me earlier while I was sitting here eating sticky beef.
That is a true statement,
That
actually.
is,
You guys had food without me? Why didn't you tell me to come earlier?
Sam, we're going to have food. You should probably get here early. All right, so...
Wait, Ash, my cat just buzzed. He heard food.
Yeah.
So 3 headlines. And so you got to figure out which one is the real...
Okay, all right.
The real,
They better
which
not be-
which one is the false one? 2 are true. 2 are true. 2 are true. One is false. Here we go. Here are 3 headlines. Women sleep better next to dogs than humans.
That's true.
Headline number 2: Crunchy found. Missing 46-year-old turtle reunited in Rochester.
Oh.
And number 3: Missouri woman finds cat trap in local haunted house. So there you go. 3 headlines. I'll read them to you again.
Read me that second one again.
All right. Women sleep better next to dogs than humans.
That's the first one.
That's number 1. Number 2: Crunchy found. Missing 46-year-old turtle is reunited in Rochester. And then the last one is Missouri woman finds cat trapped in local haunted house.
Is Crunchy the name of the turtle?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I feel like I need to know more about Crunchy because I feel like is it Rochester, New York, Rochester, Michigan.
Rochester.
How long? He's 40-something years old.
46
How
years
long
old.
has he been missing?
A
That's
turtle or a
That's
tortoise?
a hell of a turtle. I don't know. The headline says turtle. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't write these
I
things.
think
Oh, wait,
that-
I do write one.
I am positive that the dog sleeping next to women is true.
Okay.
But I think that the Crunchy Oh, this is tough because I feel like
is
because it's
tough,
October, the Halloween one may just be fabricated. Well, it's September, but we're getting close. It's October. in
I
my
always
head.
get.
It
I
is.
always
Yeah.
get these
So there's
wrong.
pumpkin spice out. It's
Oh, pumpkin spice.
Oh yeah, go to Astro and read the comic about pumpkin spice.
That made me laugh.
That's the whole reason Alien stays.
Yeah.
True, it's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna say that Crunchy's true as well.
Crunchy's true as well.
Crunchy
So
is
the
true.
false
Is the
one
cat
is the
haunted house.
cat
Please
one.
be right.
Thank you, Mr.
It's right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always get them wrong.
Crunchy was just too specific.
That is.
Oh yeah, you came
I think if I gave him like 6 days to think of a name for a turtle, he would never come up with
Crunchy.
Crunchy.
Yeah. Yeah. I am not that creative.
turtle.
So.
Yeah, see, I say
What
the
am I
same
not
thing.
turtly enough for you? Turtle. So yeah, Crunchy. That was here in Rochester, Michigan. Crunchy the turtle was found reunited with its owner. It wasn't that long. File this under I'm not crying, you're crying. 46-year-old turtle was missing in Rochester for days and miraculously has been reunited with its owner. According to local reports, Crunchy, a 46-year-old river cooter turtle, was found Saturday by a kayaker in a pond in Howlett Park and reunited with his owner, Joanne Weismer.
Whoa, I have way more questions.
Yeah.
A kayaker finds a random turtle in the wild.
So it looks like you probably belong to somebody.
Did it have a collar?
I don't know.
It probably
It's
had some like pink color on its shell, and
Yeah.
it had some kid's name on it.
What was her name? Joanne.
Crunchy,
Property
yeah.
of Joanne.
Crunchy had been missing
Because
since
I made the mistake once
Thursday.
golfing, just like coming too close to a turtle, and out of nowhere, a ranger comes flying at me, leave the animal, like wildlife alone. I'm like, where did you come from? And I wasn't gonna do anything. I just go, oh, look, a turtle.
Crunchy was just making his way around Rochester. He hit Connors, then he got over to Main Street, then he got over to the tavern. He was just making
Got
the
some
round
milkshake stout.
and ended up in the river, and that's where the kayaker found him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like
Wait, really?
kayaking, I would
Matthews,
just never think to stop and grab a
lives in
turtle.
Rochester, so we know. You're in Troy, but you're right next to
Yeah,
Rochester.
yeah.
So
It's all right there.
yeah, so it's she usually lets the turtle out to lay eggs, and they're not fertile, but she lays the eggs and then got
Does she cook
got
them?
out of her pen
I'm guessing.
on
It's wild.
a wild break. There's a turtle over the edge, and yes,
Crunchy
that
went on
women
adventure.
sleep better next to dogs than humans. That was the other true story.
I
This
believe
is
that's
true.
probably true for me too. So,
Yeah.
like,
I think it's true for me too.
Cuddle up with a dog. Women, if you want to catch better Z's, you should trade your partner in for a dog. It might sound extreme, but a new study published in the Journal of something or other found that women's quality of shut-eye improves when she sleeps in her bed next to a canine rather than her human partner. So, yeah.
do
So
you
I
hear
can-
that, Elizabeth, my wife?
Uh,
Hey, now you let me get my puppy.
yeah. Ooh. There you
Oh,
are.
I keep threatening. I keep on sending her links to adoptions for Labradors and stuff in the
Oh.
Humane Society.
Subliminal messages.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because
Little
it's.
Hey, look at this cool article I found.
I tried to trick her like 2 weeks ago to go to the DIA with me, and then there was actually an adoption event, and she was
Oh.
she found out about it. She's like, we can't go, we can't do this. I'm like, why not?
All right, and so with that, we're running low on time. We're going to do this.
These better be good.
Oh,
They're
Samantha,
never good.
strap yourself in.
Last week wasn't good.
It's time
Well, I wasn't
for
here last week, but the week before that.
Animal joke of the week.
Guys, feel free to pick whatever one you
Oh
want.
my God, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Time for the bad animal joke of the week. Hey, Samantha,
Hey, what?
why is turtle wax so expensive?
Turtle wax?
Why is turtle wax so expensive?
Or a
It's,
car.
it's what?
Turtle wax is expensive
Okay, why?
because their ears are so small.
That's not even funny.
It's a bad animal joke.
Do you have another
That
one?
is kind of the point. What do you get when you cross a turtle with a porcupine?
Something.
A slowpoke.
I like that one.
How do turtles communicate?
Turtlekinesis?
With a
I don't know.
a shell phone.
Turtle Kinesis was way better. That's a name for a punk band if I've ever heard one.
I'm gonna start my own band. I can't sing or play any instruments. I have no musical
Now
talent
that can most
whatsoever.
punk bands.
But I'm gonna do it.
www.turtlekinesis.com.
What
It's gone.
what do turtles do on their birthdays?
Celebrate.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
And what kind of pictures do they take?
Shelfies.
Shelfie. All right, there you go. Bad animal
Was that
joke
because of Crunchy?
of the week. Yeah,
I think
it
so.
was.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Sam,
Hey, what?
how do people find out about us?
Oh, we got our website, animaltalkradio.com, and that's our website where we do website things. And we got our Twitter and our Instagram and Facebook at Animal Talk Radio. Those are all the same handle. So yeah, that's all the social medias. And then we have a merch site that I'm gonna fix eventually because it's a little. Yeah, I'll fix it. Anyway, but it's wearingfunny.com. We have merchandise on there too. So
Yeah, if you go to wearingfunny.com and it says this site is not secure, it is.
it is secure.
We don't know why
We're not
keeps
buying your
kicking that.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps kicking up that
I'll
message.
fix it.
So, but
I'll
Sam's
fix it,
gonna
yeah.
fix it because she's my guru. So there you go. Thanks for joining us, Tom. Thank you for
Thank you
being
for
here.
having me.
And so, AshandRamy.com and AnimalTalkRadio.com.
And support the Kickstarter next week
Like,
when
subscribe.
you put it up.
Next
Ooh,
week we'll be
yeah.
launching it on Thursday, just before I head off to Cincinnati.
Oh, cool.
right
Oh,
on.
you're gonna be there at the convention?
I'll be there.
Hey,
I'm gonna go.
now
You
have
have to bring Will over then.
I will.
All right.
More people to
right.
stock.
Yeah.
More people to stock. All right, there we go. So until next time, please have an exotic week.
And kiss your wild thing for me.
That was fun.
Hey.
We're clear?
Yes.
Known Matt Bush forever.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Matt, we actually helped him get the Lucasfilm gig.